practice, that you have to do by practicing. Now he says, karmajam buddhir yuktahi phalam tektva manishinam. The only way by which you can reject, the only way by which you can separate yourself from the results of your action is by having, a very firm connection with this karma yoga. You can say this as knowledge. You can say this, you can say this as knowledge. Also, you can say this as karma yoga. Only by performing karma yoga, we had discussed at length about the principle of karma yoga, how to perform karma yoga. We have discussed at length. You need to practice it in your life, in your day-to-day life, and you need to remember it. The challenge that you will face while practicing karma yoga is you will keep forgetting, because you are used to do karma in a way, which you have been doing, and that is not karma yoga. That is just work. That is just a job that you do to just, to attain, attain your means and ends. But here he says, forget about means and ends. Forget about this. Just think about the karma. Now, you have karma at hand. Just do it. That's it. Forget about that. Forget about the future. Forget about and also, forget about the past. You don't need to think about the past. You don't need to think about the future. You have a karma at hand now. Just do it and be happy. If you see that your mind is going here and there, just focus more on the karma. That is karma yoga. In very simple way. Whenever you are doing any karma, just focus fully into that karma. That is karma yoga. Okay? So he says, only by this karma yoga can you enable yourself to get rid of the fruits of your actions, the results of your actions. Karmajam buddhir yuktahi phalam tektva manishinam. Only by engaging yourself into the yoga of karma can you separate yourself from the results of your action. Now, why will I separate myself from the results of action? This is a question. I am doing job for my results. I am doing karmas for attaining and for accomplishing something. So I need to always keep a track whether I am going in the right direction or not. And that is why I have to always think about what I am going to get in return. This is a argument that we can put. Yes, you are true. But this is what you have been doing. This is what you have been doing. And while you have been doing this, what did you get? After a period of time, you become frustrated, unsatisfied with your life. Why? If you have done everything right, then why will you become unhappy after a given time? You will be happy. When a person becomes old, he need to be happy that he have lived a life, full life. Why is not happy? Why is dejected? Why does he feel dejected always? He feels left out. Why? Because he have enjoyed his whole life. He have worked for himself. He have worked for his family. He has done his duty. Now it's time for him to enjoy, relax. But while he is in the process of relaxing, he sees that he is getting left out from everything. He is not satisfied at all. That means these karmas that he has been doing was not the right way. Somewhere or the other, he have made a mistake. And we make a mistake always somewhere or the other. And to stop this mistake, Krishna introduces karma yoga to us. To stop this mistake. You should not perform this mistake. You should always, you should always go, in the right direction. How? Karmajam buddhir yuktahi phalam tektva manishinam. Only by engaging yourself in karma yoga can you separate yourself from the results of actions, from the results which comes out from action. Why you need to separate yourself? because janma bandha binirmukta gacchanta padam anayam. Because if you do this, if you perform karma yoga, then you are going to get this. What? Janma bandha binirmukta. You will be free from the bondage of this birth and death. You only know one birth and you know only one death, and you think that this is all, this is all. But it's not all. It's just one part of the whole sequence. It's just one part of the whole cycle. This life is just one episode of the complete serial. It's a one episode. There are many episodes which have been already completed, and there are many episodes which are going to come. So this is not the only thing. This is not the only thing which is happening. There have been things, and there will be things in future. Okay? So, if you perform karma yoga, then you are going to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. Now, if I get rid of this cycle of birth and death, what do I really achieve? And why should I get rid of this birth and death? Because, we suffer. Because we suffer. Though we accept it or not, this life is full of sufferings. This life also has happiness, but this happiness part is very little to what, in compared to what the sadness is. Okay? And we think that this is the only life that we have. This is, in this dimension, this 3-dimension. This is a 3-dimensional world, and whatever we see here, this is the only truth. But this is not the truth. There are other worlds also. There is other life also. There is eternal life also, which we are not aware of. If this life, having so much sufferings, is what we like, is what we are attached to, just think about one life which does not have any sufferings at all. How that life can be. Understand? If this life is very dear to you, if you love this life is full of happiness, it's true, but it is also full of sadness. It's also full of sufferings, trauma. And this whole thing is life. If you are so much attached with this life, only because you get to enjoy a little part of it, then think about a life where there is no sufferings, trauma, fear at all. How that life will be. And that is what Krishna says, karmajam buddhir yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinam janma bandha binirmukta. You will be free from birth and death, or the cycle of birth and death. And then what will happen? Gacchanta padam anayam. You will move to a plane. You will move to a plane where there is no sufferings at all. You will move to a plane. This is true. This is true. You can experience it also when you are here, when you become self-realized. When you become self-realized, then you can, experience this fact that yes, my life has become something where there is no sufferings. I am in sufferings. I am in the middle of sufferings, but I don't suffer. I am in the middle of adversity, but it doesn't make any difference to my quality of life. I am happy. I'm happy. These are the people which we want to be, and which we should be, which we should aspire to be. Who can smile in the midst of all reverse condition. Who can smile, who can enjoy. Why? Because they have moved into a state of mind, a state of consciousness where there is no conception of sufferings, where there is only, where there is only peace, where there is only bliss. Yasmin sthito na dukhena gurunapi vichalyate. There is a place. If you can get, a foot in that place, if you can, put a foot in that place, then even you will have a lot of sufferings around you, you will never be perturbed. You will never be disturbed. You will always remain happy. You will always remain calm. You will always remain silent. You will always remain, satisfied, contented. This is true. So, there is a space, there's a space, there's a plane. Even in this life also, you can experience that. You can experience that even in this life when when you attain this liberation. When you attain liberation, after self-knowledge, when you are liberated completely from fear, from ignorance. This ignorance which tells me that this world is true. This ignorance which tells me that this body is what I am. This ignorance which tells me that whatever I know about myself, I am a name and a form. These attributes, this lust, this greed, this is all about myself. This is all what I am. This is because of ignorance. Knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is attained when I get liberated from this ignorance. I see there was no fear at all. I am so scared. We have fear of death. We have fear of being, destroyed. But when you realize yourself, when you know who you are, then you see that you had no fear at all. You had no fear at all. And because you had no fear at all, you will have no fear now, as well as in future you will not have fear. Means you have liberated yourself from fear. Every problem, every challenges, every sadness, everything which you don't like originates from fear. Even the disease also originates from fear. A person has cancer. He is not scared at all. Cancer cannot kill him. This is true. We have these cases. It's true. A person has cancer, he is not scared at all. He will survive. But a person who is scared of life, even he can stay in the midst of full security, utmost security, will never have peace. He will die all the time. So this liberation, you did not have fear at all. There is nothing to fear. Then what is death? You never had death. You never died. Because you have never taken birth. Your body has taken birth. Why do you impose yourself in the body? Why? Because of ignorance. Because you don't know who you are. Because you don't know who you are. You are not acquainted with your real nature. Because you are not acquainted with your real nature, that is why you think that you are this body. And when you think yourself to be the body, you inherit everything that the body faces. And you think that this is mine, this is mine, this is what I am. This is ignorance. This is only because of your own ignorance. Nobody has said this to you, that you are that. You have imposed it on yourself. And because you have imposed it on yourself, it is you who need to get liberated from that yourself. How? Karma yoga by Krishna. Karmajan buddhir yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinam janma bandha binirmukta gacchanta padam anayam. If you practice karma yoga, then you will be liberated from this cycle of birth and death. Not only that, you will move to a plane where there is no sufferings at all. And this is true. And this is true because this liberation will not happen when you have left this body. This liberation is not going to happen like that. That okay, you leave this body and that's it, and you have gone. Nobody knows. Not like this. You will know this now at this point in this life, remaining in this body, in this world of duality. In this world of duality, remaining within body, you will see that you have nothing to do with this reality, duality. You have nothing to do with this body, and that this body does not exist. You will be in the body. You will be in the body, but you will not see your body. You will be in the body. By being in the body, you will say, I am not the body at all. I am the omnipresent. Being in the body, you will say, you will say this because you will realize this. Because you will feel this. You will experience this very clearly. This experience that you have, of this world, when you will have the experience of that world, when you will have the experience of the real world, the reality, this is apparent real. This is what I see. What my eyes what my eye shows. But when you will see the real world, then you will see that, I have never had a body. I am everywhere. I am like the sky. Vibhur Vyapi Sarvatra Sarvendriyanam. I'm everywhere, like the sky, where the sky is everywhere. And it's not that you will just say, you will feel this. You will feel your existence everywhere. We know about Thakur Ramakrishna. Yesterday we also had listened a story about Thakur Ramakrishna. I'm telling you one incident in the life of Thakur Ramakrishna. One day Thakur Ramakrishna was sitting near the Ganga. He was staring at the Ganga. Because the room from where, the room in which he used to live in Dakshineshwar was in the banks of Ganga, so he used to look at the Ganga from his room. And when he was looking at the Ganga, he saw that in the middle of Ganga, there are two boats with two fishermen. And these two fishermen were fighting with each other. They were, quarreling with each other. They were in the middle of a very fierce argument. And while they were, engaged in this fierce argument, one of the fishermen lose his calm and he just slapped another fisherman, in his shoulder. Thakur Ramakrishna felt it in his own shoulder. And there was red marks, red finger marks in his shoulder. This is possible. This is possible. You don't only live in your own body, you live everywhere. So the people who are dying in Africa is not Africans, they are you. Those hunger is your hunger. Because you have not known yourself, you don't relate to them. You have sympathy, you don't have empathy. You don't have empathy. You just have sympathy. Oh yeah, the people are dying. Yes, we need to do so. It's sympathy. With sympathy, nothing is going to work. But if when you will realize the self, you will have empathy. You will feel the pain of that person who is in hunger, and you cannot eat till that person's hunger is satisfied. This is what spirituality brings to you. This is what spirituality brings to you. This is what self-knowledge brings to you. And if you see the greatest saints of the world, they were all lovers because they knew that this is called love. The love that we talk about in this world is not love. That is that is just an attraction. It's just a physical attraction. It has nothing to do with love. Love is the feelings of oneness. And if it is, directed into one person, that is not love also. Why, love is universal. It should be it should be like the sun. It should be like the sky. It should be like the, like the breeze, which does not blow for you. It blows for everybody. It's like rain. It does not fall only in your house. It falls everywhere. Okay? The trees, they don't give fruits only to you or to the owner of the garden. It bears fruit for everybody. And but we humans, out of ignorance, we make everything to be confined into one particular person, one particular space, one particular object. And that is because of ignorance. That is because of ignorance. And when people tell us, hey, come out of this, we think that these people are going to harm us. They are not harming us, they are actually benefiting us. We should pay attention to them. We should adore them. We should respect them, value them. And that is why Swami Vivekananda said, the person who gives spiritual knowledge to the world is the greatest benefactor of human being. It's not the person who feeds people. People who feeds you is not your greatest benefactor. Yeah, he is a benefactor, but he is not the greatest benefactor. A person who gives you material knowledge is your benefactor, but he is not the greatest benefactor. Why? Because he cannot solve all your problems. He cannot give you a permanent solution of everything. He cannot give you a permanent solution. Permanent solution will be attained only when you attain self-knowledge. When you attain self-knowledge. Okay, so when you attain self-knowledge and when you can give self-knowledge to people. And that is why if you really want to give somebody, give the spiritual knowledge, because this spiritual knowledge actually gives solutions to everything, all our problems. Yang labdha chaparam labhang manyate nadikam tata. It's an attainment of something after which you don't need anything anymore. It's such a huge knowledge. It's such a huge power. It's such a huge power. It's such a huge knowledge that when you attain this knowledge, you don't need anything anymore. This matter, this worldly accomplishment has nothing. It doesn't have any comparison with what you are going to attain after you have attained this knowledge. If you have to know this, you have to experience this. You have to experience it. Yang labdha chaparam labhang manyate nadikam tata. There is one accomplishment which when attained is which when attained, you don't need any other attainment at all. You have attained fulfillment. You have attained fulfillment. Jasmin stitena dukhena gurunapi vichalyate. And there is a plane when you go and reach there, set your foot there, then whatever conditions you are in, whatever traumatic conditions you are in, whatever disturbing conditions you are in, you are never going to get perturbed. You are never going to get disturbed. You are always quiet, silent, happy. Your feet is always in the ground. Your feet is always in the ground. Okay? So spirituality does not talk about something which is intangible, something which is imaginary. Spirituality talks about something which the life needs. It is the essence of life. It is something which we need. and which we carry with ourselves, but we are not aware at all about that. It's time that we need to, be aware about this. See what happened in Corona. What happened? People have money, people have everything. This does not have any meaning at all. After seeing this, then also if your eyes does not open, then you are blind. Money could not do anything to you. Money could not bring happiness. Money could not bring, bring cure. Still people are dying. People are all scared. Why? Why are you scared? You have everything. Go and enjoy. Go and enjoy. You have, worked your whole life to attain some papers, some dollars, some euros, some rupees, some gold. No, go and enjoy. You can't. You can't even breathe properly, You need mask. You need mask. So just see how limited our our body, our this life is. Just see. Don't you need something which is, beyond all this? Don't you need something when you can be in the midst of all sufferings, but you will say, I'm happy. I'm happy. I am not scared at all. And if you are not scared, then there is nothing which can harm you. Because fear is the greatest enemy. Fear is the greatest disease. If you don't have fear, you have nothing. You have nothing. Okay? So that is what he says. Now is, Krishna is saying the next one, exactly in this line. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vati tarishyati. When there is, disturbance everywhere around you. When there is disturbance everywhere around you, and when your eyes are closed, and you see, you hear sounds, very frightening sounds, you feel that there is something very, very frightening which is going to come. But in between that, in the midst of that, your intellect does not deflect. It stays still. Though you cannot see, though you feel that there is something wrong which is going to be, though you sense, some sounds which are coming which are not pleasurable at all, which are not pleasant at all, there may be some very big catastrophe, but still at the midst of that, that anxious moment, you are quiet, you are grounded. If you can do this, if you're grounded while you are in the midst of crisis, the biggest crisis, yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyati tarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam srotavyasya srutasya cha. If you can do that while in the midst of all sufferings, if you can be quiet, if you can have a firm if you can stand firm, if you're firmly grounded, then tada gantasi nirvedam srotavyasya srutasya cha. Then only you move to that plane where you don't need any teachings at all. Then only, if you are, this is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. It places you in the greatest challenge of your life and says, be quiet, be silent there, be happy there, be contented there, don't fear, just face it. Just, here Krishna doesn't say that, okay, if you're there, I'm going to save you. Never you will see this. Never. Krishna will never say that, okay, in your fear, I'm going to save you. No. He said, while you are in the midst of all, the most traumatic conditions in your life, then also if you are, firm, if you're grounded, if you're fearless, if you face it, if you're fearless, then you have moved into a plane where you don't need any teachings at all. Tata gantasi nirvedam. You move beyond Vedas. You move beyond karmas. Vedas also means karmas. So you move beyond Vedas. Vedas means knowledge. So you move beyond Vedas and knowledge. And you don't need anything, to listen. Or, whatever you have listened, they don't have any meaning to you at all, because you had already reached that state. Okay? And then he says, the same thing again in a more, Shruti pratipanna te yada sthashati nischala. He says in context of Vedic instructions that, there are many things which the Vedas talk about. Okay? It's not only knowledge. It's not only knowledge, it's not only liberation. Vedas also talks about heaven. Vedas also talks about a lot of these rites and rituals, sacrifices. He says, Shruti pratipanna te yada sthashati nishra. Even the Vedas talk about a lot of things. You need to do this, you need to do that. You can just relate it to any of your life experiences. This one he is talking about, especially the scholars who approach the self through the scriptures. So while they read the scripture, the first thing that they get is the karma kanda, that is these rituals, rites and rituals. So he says that even if the Vedas talks about all this rites, rituals, sacrifices, lot of worship and this and that, whatever, but even when it talks about this, still then your intellect is situated very firm. Your intellect is in a very firmly established. Even the Vedas talks about a lot of things. Still, your intellect is firmly situated. It is like this. Sudhivi pratipanna te yada sthashati nischala samadha vachala buddhistada yogam avapsasi. Samadha vachala buddhistada yogam avapsasi. Yes. If that is the case, then samadha vachala buddhistada, then your knowledge is completely in a state of supreme solution. You have reached the solution of your life. If you do not get perturbed, if you do not get influenced by every teachings of the Vedas, there are various teachings of the Vedas. The prime teaching of Vedas is to realize the self, but that is not the only teaching. Vedas also talks about a lot of things. Even Vedas has teachings which also says that Vedas is not true. Vedas has also accepted that teaching which says that, okay, Vedas is not true at all. Just go and relax, just go and enjoy this world. Don't think about Vedas and all these things. Vedas have also, included that is also knowledge. So Vedas has also included that knowledge into itself. So, if you are not perturbed with the various knowledges or the various teachings of the Vedas, then only your intellect is steadfast into knowledge, and thus you have attained yoga. Okay, now you relate it with your life. So today we are going to stop here. The next day we are going to move into the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This 18 slok, these 18 verses that is going to come, they are the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and I like so much studying this particular part of Bhagavad Gita. It starts with a question of Arjuna. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthita di kim prabhasheta kimasita brajeta kim. This was a question of Arjuna, and Krishna talked about this 18 slokas from there, which this 18 slokas. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. Mahabharata, there has got 18 chapters. Mahabharata, the war was for 18 days, and there were 18 Aksharani Sena. That is, these two armies. They had this total of 18 Aksharani Sena. This is a big, very vast, calculation. So this 18, this digit is a very special digit. Okay, so in the the next day, that is Tuesday, at 8:30 we are going to study this. With this question of Arjuna, Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha samadhi sthasya keshava sthitadi kim pravasheta kimasita brajeta kim. And Lord Krishna starts from there. Sri Bhagavan uvacha prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanaivatmano tushta sthita pragyasta dochyate. It's a beautiful expression of what this greatest human being should be. The human being whose intellect, whose knowledge is steadfast, how he can be in context with this practical life. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. It talks about higher spiritual knowledge in context to our day-to-day life, to our day-to-day experience. It does not deny this experience. It does not deny this world. Though this world is like a dream, it's not true, but Bhagavad Gita does not deny this life, not the life experience at all. Okay? And this makes Bhagavad Gita so special. Thank you very much. And we are going to meet again on Tuesday at 8:30. Thank you. Jai Bhagavan.